perdono che solo le tue mani mi daranno. Cercandomi domani c'è più samba, nell'uomo ritrovato c'è più samba, nel canto senza fiato c'è più samba, nel petto di chi piange perché stava cercando compagnia e voleva donare la sua vita, come sto facendo proprio con la mia. Sono triste, sai perché? Se tutto il mondo s'ambasse e tu ti curassi di me. Sono triste, sai perché? Se tutto il mondo s'ambasse e tu ti curassi di me. Se resto ad aspettare, aspettare di guarire la ferita che hai fatto nel mio cuore, questo cuore che chiede il tuo perdono, il perdono che solo le tue mani mi daranno. Cercandomi domani c'è più samba, nell'uomo ritrovato c'è più samba, nel canto senza fiato c'è più samba, nel petto di chi piange perché stava cercando compagnia e voleva donare la sua vita, come sto facendo proprio con la mia. Sono triste, sai perché? Se tutto il mondo s'ambasse e tu ti curassi di me. Sono triste, sai perché? Se tutto il mondo s'ambasse e tu ti curassi di me.
bossa, bossa, figure, bossa go cantone, bossa, bossa, figure, bossa go cantone, 2 o 3 battugi strani in sciaccia setta, tianca ciamballonetto de pape, manciuccio bello senta, una bugetta cria, bossa go cantone. Un Napoli scioccato, tu carruggio vende roba da contrabbande, ma che qualche dunque sbragia, bossa a Napoli go bregate. Bossa figge, arrivo cantone, o gaman cavale, pur temo dio giacche. Bossa figge, o nene le vacque, a forza de bacche, ne puè. Bossa, bossa figge, bossa go cantone, bossa, bossa figge, bossa go cantone. U Brescia come solito rattella, per se scumisse perse custrasse, ma che sempre un po' sbragia, bossa Brescia go bregate. Bossa figge, arrivo cantone, uga manca vale, pur temo dio giacche. Bossa figge, o nene le vacque, a forza de bacche, me puè la la
Chickatun, chickatun, dan drum, chickatun, 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 dan drum, chickatun, 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 dan drum. Sto chickatun, dan drum, chickatun, chickatun, tu vedi stamattina, chickatun, chickatun, su ta daucia là, chickatun, chickatun, tu se ne fa un guttin, chickatun, chickatun. Se ti l'incontri su mezzogiorno, ti la troviaci della che te sa. Dice tu rap e 3 grigi verdi senza parlare di gianchi de cuna. Chickatun, dan drum, chickatun, chickatun, quella del lungo se, chickatun, chickatun, e su case sei ma, chickatun, chickatun, e su quella sciughe, chickatun, chickatun. In tasse banda de San Pedenga che qualche dunque te lo riemita. Dopo 3 gotti o le lungo steso, u Giovanni invece se ne fa in pa. Chickatun, dan drum, chickatun, chickatun, quando le queste ste, chickatun, chickatun, beve un po' di ciù, chickatun, chickatun, ma scusa che le ste, chickatun, chickatun. Così sa prima panascia spiaggia, così riesce ad anticipare. La prima rappa de 6:15, che dice lei quella che vede, fa perfezione della brusatura, e mentre spiega beve una gase. E bravo! Chickatun, 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 dan drum, 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 chickatun.
Anciue, go anciue, dono le chi l'arsino du macate anciue. U pesco quando è la mattina o la lugarre e o comincia già. U vangi con una corba pinga d'anciuette tarie de pescisse. U vangi guarda c'è casang e chi anfito con un piatto in mano. Me dormi o le sante canne e cusci tue se ti ho te sbragia. Anciue, go anciue, dono le chi l'arsino du macate anciue. U pesco non l'è mai marrotto, tutti i giorni mi lo senti sbragia. Se non sta bene, se ne beve in gotto, ma da quello buco vende a cuna. Vino qua sveglia cama desce, perché ho buongiorno, modo pesco. A se tu o le chi cu pesce o l'attacca a cria con tutto il suo show. Anciue, go anciue. L'arsino du macate anciue. U vangi guarda c'è casang e che chi anfito con un piatto in mano. Come dormi o le sante canne e pusci tue se ti ho te sbragia. Minu guas sveglia cama desce perché o buongiorno modo pesco a se tu le chi cu pesce la tacca cria con tutto il suo show anciue doi anciue dove non è chi l'arsilo do mapa te anciue anciue.
Welcome to Kiwiradio.nz. I am your host, Ralphie. We have a legend tonight, Chris Young, from many, many musical acts. He's a man of many hands, many mitts, many gloves, whatever you want to call it, and such a talented dude. We'll have him up first. Equally talented is Chris Bates from New Zealand. He's released a brand new song, and he told me that he's actually going to want to come and plug that song on a future podcast not too far away. So Chris Bates is the artist. This is a song he released called Takeaway Cup. And what I did was I kind of, surprisingly, got really creative with this and made a remix of the song, mashed it with another future bass track called by Conroe, and the song is Close from the Monster Cat record label, and mashed it together into a mashup and surprised him. And his lovely review was he's going to take down the original version from Spotify and replace it with this one. Yep, that's literally what he said. And I'll play it right now for you. Stay tuned as we have Chris Young. Yep, that's the new Chris Bates single, Takeaway Cup from New Zealand, released just 3 days ago. And as mentioned, I decided to do a future bass remix of it 2 days ago, so it's fresh off the bakery, at the songwriting factory, whatever you want to call it. Chris sent me a voicemail of what he thinks of the remix. Here we go.
Hey brother, what a legend. That's amazing, the remix. And yeah.
Yep, there we go. He's impressed. Yep, and he's going to take down the original Spotify version, apparently. But no, honestly, the original is equally stunning, so go check that out. Next up, we have double platinum New Zealand rock musician Chris Young from many, many excellent bands, such as Tadpole's probably the most known and loved one, but also Redline, Static Era, Metaract, all sorts of things. So we're going to go through and deep dive into his discography. He's in the green room right now, so we'll fade it up. Welcome to the show there, Chris. Welcome to the show. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Let me just fix you up on the Bluetooth. How's that? Let's get this going. One moment. Live caller.
Hello.
Hello, you
Can you
are
hear me?
live on air. Yes, we can. I always do that.
Excellent.
If the phone line doesn't work, I turn it off, turn it on again, and it magically works. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Double Platinum. Holy moly.
Ah,
This is a big one.
Ralphie, thank you for
Thank you for inviting me to have a bit of a chit chat.
Bit of a chit chat, spin some tunes, and release it to the unknowing public. But you are well known and loved, especially for the band Tadpole. I remember as a young lad watching you guys on television, pimpled face and all, and here I am several decades later, actually talking to the wonderful guitarist of that band. But you're actually many faces. Do you want to maybe pick up the mic and tell us about yourself?
Look, let's see, where do I start? I mean, musical history-wise, Tadpole is probably what I'm most well known for. It feels like a whole lifetime ago. I mean, we just released the debut album, The Butterfinger, on vinyl recently, and it's crazy to think that was actually 23 years ago. So that makes me feel old.
That is a quarter of a century. You're doing well.
Yeah, it's crazy. It does feel like a lifetime ago. But so I mean, we can dive a bit more into that. After my Tadpole experience, I formed a bit more of a harder rock band with my brother, which was called Redline. And while it wasn't as prolific, we certainly had some amazing experiences. And then after that, I was in a band called Static Era, which, ironically enough, after my Tadpole experience, because at the time, my parting ways, there was a bit of disgruntledness in the band. I kind of swore that I'd never be in a band with another female singer, which I know is a bit of a weird thing, but it was just where my mindset was at. But then, lo and behold, I connected with this amazing singer, Emma G, and we started Static Era. So
Emma G, well known and loved as a vocalist from X Factor. I happened to be there at X Factor, seeing her shine in the top 10. So great choice of vocalist.
Yeah, well, actually, I remember supporting her in her X Factor audition. I think it was one of the first times there. So that was certainly a really out of it experience, for her anyway. But we did a couple of EPs and released a full album for Static Era. And then after that, more recently, basically we formed a band with a couple of guys called Metaract, which was a bit edgier again, with me back on vocals again. So anyway, that's kind of like the very short kind of, I guess,
biography.
Biography. Where would you like to start?
Well, we're a storytelling show, but we're also all about the music. So what we'll do is we'll play the song, ask you what the song's about, all that sort of thing from your own memory kind of thing. We're going to go from your discography of oldest to newest, and this is the songwriter, the musician, the guitarist, the all-round legend, 25 plus years in the making. Start off with something well-known and loved. Let's go with Tadpole with a track called Set to Fade. And thank you again for coming on. And let's listen to some of your wonderful music. You're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz tonight, simulcast as well on upfm.co.nz.
So much for your concern. You live, you breathe.
Radio. That was Tadpole, Set to Fade. Check out the vinyl release and everything being celebrated this year. Tadpole's triple platinum selling debut album, Butterfinger, was actually originally released in August 2000 and became one of New Zealand's biggest rock albums of that decade, with 7 massive singles, debuting at number 2 in the New Zealand Top 40 album charts and staying there for almost 2 years. You can relive the 2000s and grab the vinyl. We have Chris Young, the wonderful guitarist. What a classic sound! I grew up with Tadpole, so this is surreal for me. Actually interviewing someone from the band. Do you kind of get that though? Like, you know, you're branching out to other projects still, but you know you're still being connected to some of your, you know, best works, which is Tadpole. Do you still get that? Do you get people recognizing you from that band? Because you were on the television for quite some time.
I tell you what, as I guess I've got older, I initially thought that people would just forget about Tadpole, right? Because it was over 2 decades ago. But to my surprise and quiet joy, people remember it, and people remember it fondly. And going through this recent, I guess, recent initiatives where we're releasing the Butterfinger on vinyl again, and last year we compiled basically an anthology CD set of the band's career. It's been a very interesting, nostalgic visit. But yeah, no, I really am grateful that people still remember, you know, what we did as like bold, ambitious 20-somethings 20 years ago. And yeah, the music continues. So I'm just really grateful that people do remember. Yeah, and look, the reason that I thought it'd be good to jam Set to Fade on your show tonight, I mean, we could have picked one of the other ones that was one of the singles, and you're probably going to be one of the first to know this, we are going to release Set to Fade as the 8th single very shortly from the Butterfinger. So I'm currently working to compile a music video, which we'll post on YouTube, which is going to have, we've dug into the archives and digitized a lot of DV footage. So yeah, watch that space.
That's cool.
Yeah, a bit of nostalgia there, but yes.
That reminds me a little bit like you know, reliving some classics like Elvis Presley, A Little Less Conversation, you know, that kind of thing. But then they kind of dish out the old stems and things like that, and remix it, or you know, like kind of put it out there as if it was new, you know, that kind of thing. You remember that song, Little Less Conversation? I can't actually. Is it who? Junkie XL. Put it back on the radio station as a JXL remix, completely into sort of that different vibe. And I know, I just think that's super cool how you've obviously really good at record keeping. Yeah, you've still got all the masters and things after 2 decades. You haven't lost it after moving several houses or anything. So that's good.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation and story altogether.
Oh, tell us. We're a storytelling podcast. Give us some nuggets.
All right. Let me kind of give you the concise thing. So look, for ages, Tadpole music wasn't really continue to be kind of shared out there in a traditional sense, right? Like the CDs had disappeared off the shelf, and a lot of the songs weren't available digitally to stream. And so what happened was, I've always stayed connected with the band through the years. I mean, we haven't exactly we're not like best mates, but we still stay in touch, and we had catch-ups from time to time. And one of the things was we noticed that our record label that our music they own the rights to, they just hadn't done anything with the music even after all this time. And we knew there was some demand for people to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that kicked off this whole thing last year where we actually hired a lawyer, and we negotiated with the record label to basically pass the rights to the first two Tadpole albums back to us as the artists. Now, for anyone that doesn't know about the music industry, usually when a record label signs you, the record label owns the rights to your music for life. So it's actually a challenging process to even have a shot at this. But we were able to do it, and because we were able to secure the rights back to our first two albums, that's what gave us the ability to be able to compile the anthology 4-CD set, which happened to be the first two albums, third album, which was independently recorded, and then a fourth one, which is basically a collection of basically B-sides and unreleased tracks, which is more for like the hardcore fan, which had followed the band throughout its career. It kind of summarizes the gaps in between the albums. So that enabled us to do that, and that also enabled us to go through the process to convert and create a vinyl release for the Butterfinger album. So we're really stoked about that. So that's why there's this activity that's happening recently that hasn't been happening for like the last 15 years.
That's
because
cool,
we
though.
finally were in a position to do something with that.
No, that's awesome. I'm looking at some of your photos. I'm sorry to delve so like deeply into Tadpole. It's just that I was such a big fan for such a long time. So do you think that now that you've got the stems there, a possibility of like remixes and things like that? I don't know if you heard the first one, but you know, Chris Bates, I did a fan remix basically and redid it into a future bass. I mean, are you going to be like considering giving it to a couple of DJs, things like that, and seeing what they do with the stems? Is that even possible now that you have the rights back?
All right. Well, once again, you're probably hearing it first on your show. Yes. Yeah, we are certainly interested in getting some anyone really who's interested in wanting to reinterpret the music in a whole new way. Yeah, for sure. So that's something that we're also working on at the moment, making some stems available.
Nice.
I'm not sure when yet, but yes, that will be soon.
Here's a testimonial from our first artist.
Hey brother, what a legend. That's amazing, the remix. And
Yeah. See, there we go. So remixer right here. No, that's awesome. Look, that's really cool. But we get to listen to your other stuff now. So after Tadpole, you got into a band with your brother, Redline. Tell us more about that kind of transition.
Yeah, so look, I think it's an interesting evolution for me personally as a musician, right? When I was the guitarist in Tadpole, I was literally just focused on guitar, just on riffs, and somehow when we jammed, like songs kind of came together, right? But I wasn't really had a focus or an interest in what Renee was doing. That was her lane, writing lyrics and melodies. I was just the guitar. When Redline came about, I guess my focus has shifted, and now I was more of a songwriter. I was looking at songs holistically and not just as a collection of guitar riffs. So from a musical creative perspective, Redline's quite special to me because this is me really going into songwriting mode, like,
Right.
Putting my heart and soul into writing songs as a whole, writing lyrics, agonizing over how to write lyrics. I mean, lyric writing is a very challenging process at the best of times. So that's why the Redline phase is quite dear to me, because it was my evolution as a musician. It was me stepping into a vocalist role for the first time. It was me writing lyrics. So yeah, that's probably it. And when you haven't done something before, like singing, and I was confident in guitar playing, but singing was something which it took the reassurance of other people in the band to make me believe that was something that I could step up and do. And my brother was a very key part of that. So that band is, while it's not as prolific as Tadpole, it means a lot to me in different ways.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we actually do have some live chat happening right now. We've got a listener in Australia, recordingstudio9.com. He's actually a really cool YouTuber if anyone's into recording stuff. He's listening in right now saying, let the stems out and let the fans remix. It provides extra free marketing. Absolutely. It's almost like, music is such a joyful art form that it's like an infinite art form, eh? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Mate, we're definitely going to do that. We're just there's a few things to tidy up and clean up, but yeah, absolutely. I am really looking forward and hearing how other people can reinterpret the song. Obviously, it's one of the original songwriters. We had a certain vision. But it's always amazing when someone else can reinterpret that, because that's what art is. You take something and then you rework and create something new from it.
One of my favorite Kiwi remixes, seeing as though we're a Kiwi music station, Kimbra, a really awesome musician here, Kimberly Johnson. She put out a song and it was remixed by DJ Shadow. And it's such a cool remix, you know what I mean? So, yeah, just things like that. But, yeah, thank you again, Recording Studio 9. Welcome to Kiwiradio.nz. If you do want to call in, open lines in New Zealand are 09 8898 555. Did it last week and actually got the live callers chatting to the artist. So if you want to do that, Chris Young is on the mic there. Here is your chance. And, this is a special one here. Red Line is the next band that he was in. And Take Me In is the song. And you're tuned into Kiwi Radio, delving into 25 plus years of rich musical history with Chris Young. Kiwi Radio.
Make me
Kiwiradio.nz. We are with the man, the legend, Chris Young, 25 plus years of rich musical history. That's Redline with your brother. Really cool. I really enjoyed that. Next up is, so you, after Redline or during the Redline, you were probably juggling the projects, right? Did you go straight to Static Era or shuffling in between them, or what were you doing?
No. So what happened was there was a bit of a pause in between bands here, and one of the main reasons why Redline went on hiatus was because my brother decided he was going to relocate to the UK. Now, at one point, we all discussed as a band that maybe we'd all try and relocate to the UK as well. Anyway, long story short, things didn't pan out. A couple of the guys moved over there. I stayed here in New Zealand. So I was actually bandless for a few years. And, when you're a musician, it's one of those things that when you're not being a musician, you love going out and seeing your mates, and you get that itch. You just want to get back up on stage and you want to get back writing songs. Anyway, so I was bandless for a little while, and then what happened was somehow I crossed paths with Emma G, because at the time I was actually hosting a music TV show on an alternative TV station called Alt TV that was operating back in the day. And one of the interviews was Dr. Dave Snell, and Emma was going out with him at the time. But anyway, that's where I first met her, and I completely forgot about that. And then later on, somehow I forget how we reconnected, but she was actually looking for musicians to form a band. Like, she was a bit of an acoustic singer-songwriter, but she wanted to do a rock band project. And she never in a million years thought that I would actually offer to play with her. She was literally just asking if I knew of any musos. Like I said, I was bandless at the time, and I said, hey, I'm happy to do something, because I'm not currently active. And so that's how it began. And a great friendship sprung from that. And I think we were doing music together for 5-7 years, whatever it was, until she decided to relocate to the US, where she is now.
Yeah, no, that's true. The reason why I really like you as a musician is you don't stay idle for long, right? You get itchy hands and you want to do something, and I really like that. As one door closes, another one opens for you, and you're an active person in doing that. It reminds me of sort of those A-list actors that, I don't know, they might get their token roles that they're known for, like Friends or something. In your case, it's Tadpole. But, they're still going. They're still auditioning for things, doing this, doing that. And that's what you're doing with music. So I really like that about you. Now, because you've got such a rich history, I want to point people to a central website, if that's okay. So the website that I found, and correct me if I'm wrong, is music.chrisyong.net. Would that be the Letterx, Redline, Static Era, all that?
Yeah. Yeah, if they just search Chris Young Music, or chrisyoungmusic.com or Chris Young Music in Google, you'll get to that.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Hey, also a big shout out to Nitin, who is here every week supporting the show. He's actually listening in from India. If we can actually get him on the phone, that would be awesome. But yeah, he's always listening in. Just being part of the community, which is amazing, and becoming friends of the podcast. That makes a fun radio show. Nitin, hello.
Hello, Ralphie. How are you?
How's things over there in India?
It's good.
Okay, how are you enjoying the show this week? We've got a rich talent here, Chris Young.
I just tuned in, Ralphie.
Awesome. Well, what's happening over there in India? Anything? Oh, actually, here's the thing, right? So Nitin is very good, very intelligent, very political too, like I am. I actually got to interview a upcoming politician, NZ loyal, Jeanette Wilson, doing the elections next month. And the reason why I'm segueing to this is Chris Young actually did a little bit of a thing back in the day with the Internet Party and those elections. Chris, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience. Are you a little bit dainted after that? How are you feeling post-election? Give us the real deal.
Oh,
Nathan,
boy.
feel free to chime in anytime, Nathan.
Definitely.
All right. Look, I guess